Every once in a while we get one of those prospects that transcends the game. Someone that gets that justified hype as being truly generational as a prospect with legit superstar upside, and teams pray they can get the number one pick to draft them. In the 2023 NBA draft, we have two of those prospects, one of which I have already talked about in his own breakdown video on Scoot Henderson, but the other one is so good that he's rightfully viewed as a clearly better prospect than Scoot, who is a legit generational point guard prospect in his own right, mind you. That's how good Victor Wembanyama is. He's a creative player that you would have to use mods and cheat codes to make in 2K because 2K doesn't believe it's realistic for a player like this to exist. And at times when I watch Victor play, I also wonder if it actually is real and this is actually a real prospect that exists. We have never seen a prospect like this before. Someone this tall that moves like a guard, has unreal skills and versatility on both ends of the floor, on top of the feel and mindset to be a dominant player on both ends of the floor. I'm going to be very clear. Victor Wembanyama is worth every bit of the hype. It's hard to find a place to start with Victor Wembanyama and what makes him a special prospect because there are so many things you can talk about. But I think the place to start and what I believe truly makes him special is the potential he has to legitimately be the most unstoppable player in basketball. At 7'4" and maybe even taller than that, with an 8-foot wingspan, he has the height and arm length to suit over just about anyone. His shot will basically be unblockable and likely one that will be hard to even bother. He's an inconsistent shooter right now. He's far from knocked down as a shooter, but he has plenty of good indicators. I like his form, he has good touch around the basket, the height and arm length that just isn't comparable to anyone, let alone someone this tall that has these skills. He might be the only one that exists right now. Plus, he's a really good free throw shooter on good volume. On top of that, he has unreal shot creating tools as well. He has legit guard wing-like movement skills. He's a very fluid athlete. He moves well north to south and east to west. He has a good handle, not just for his height, but in general. He's very comfortable creating for himself off the dribble and taking tough shots. He can hit shots both on and off platform, which is something that would be cheat code levels for a skilled shot maker at 6'8", let alone 7'4". He's good at drawing fouls, he has good touch around the basket, he has the craft to get to the basket, he has the frame to finish over people. He also can do traditional big stuff as well, run the floor, catch lobs, be the roll man in the P&O. He has potential as a post scorer facing up and with his back to the basket. He's not perfect at everything as a scorer, but he has the potential to be at the very least adequate and at the most elite at just about every facet of scoring imaginable, which is the first time I've ever said that about a prospect. On top of that, he flashes potential as a passer and seems to understand his scoring gravity well with an expanded role this season compared to his prior experience. And I do think he can be a good passer for the level of scorer I think he will be, which will make him just hard to stop overall, not just as a scorer. And then you add the defensive upside. His frame, wingspan, and movement skills make him a versatile monster. He can drop, switch, heads, play just about any defensive coverage you want him to. He's a monster shot blocker. He times his blocks well. He can play passing lanes. He's a super high field player on defense. Not only do I believe that Victor can be a great player, I think he can be a complete player because of how great he is on both ends of the floor. Now, for as great as Victor is, he does have areas he could work on because no prospect is perfect, no matter how good they are. Even the ones that are as good as Victor Wembanyama. He can add more functional strength. He's not a weak player, I would say. He has a tough mentality, but he can get bullied a bit by stronger defenders or in the post on defense at times. I'm not too worried about this. He's super young and still filling out his frame. I also think he can improve his shot selection. He can be a bit jump shot happy at times, but I do think that's another thing that will just naturally improve over time, and that's really about it. The areas he needs to improve on are ones I'm confident he will, not just because he's great, but also because of the history of prospects that have similar areas they could improve on. These are things that just come down to youth more than legit concerns, I believe. That's how good he is, where the flaws in his game are ones that are realistically improvable to the point where I don't think they will be problems with added experience. Now when it comes to team fits, Victor Wembanyama fits on every team. It's why he's a lock to go at number 1 overall. No matter who wins the lottery, he's going to be the first pick. It's the most confident I've felt in a player going first overall really ever since I started covering the draft. He's the franchise player for any lottery team that gets that first pick. His versatility and skill make him fit well on all 30 teams. He does something for everyone. But there are a few teams I like for him in particular. The OKC Thunder would be a lot of fun. It would be interesting to see how he works with Chet Holmgren when Chet Holmgren comes back from injury for his rookie season next year and plays his rookie season potentially with a Wembanyama. I also like the way that Wembanyama would play off of guards like Josh Giddey and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. It would take some lottery luck at this point for this to happen, assuming they goes into play-in, because OKC might just be a playoff team this year. They've been pretty good. The Pistons are a good fit. In fact, it's probably my favorite fit. I like his fit defensively with Jalen Duren in the front court, who is a really smart young defensive big in his own right. I like his fit with Cade as a PNR partner in the roll-man situation. I like his fit with Duren as a PNR partner in the ball handler situations. I think I like Jaden Ivey would thrive in transition and as a cutter playing off of Wembanyama as well. The Hornets for basketball purposes would be fun. I'm a bit worried about the other things with that team. We don't need to get into that right now. But Victor Wembanyama and LaMelo Ball would be a very fun pairing. Same reason I would like his fit with Halliburton on the Indiana Pacers. The Magic would be a really fun team. In fact, they're probably the team I want to see the second most when it comes to landing spots for Victor behind Detroit, because I think it would be fun putting him in the front court with Paulo and Franz. He would just be fun on any team, but those are just some teams I had in mind. Victor Wembanyama is a generational talent, and honestly, that might be underselling just how good he is. He's a player that will change the fortune of a franchise the moment they realize they get the first overall pick. He has a chance to be the most dominant player in basketball, the most unstoppable and complete offensive player in the game, and the face of the new NBA. An NBA that values and thrives on versatility on both ends of the floor. I don't know what team will land Victor Wembanyama. I don't know if he will reach his ceiling. I don't even know what his ceiling is as a player, because the outcomes based off what you see on tape lead you to believe things that truly aren't believable because we just haven't seen it in the NBA. But even if he doesn't reach his ceiling, he's still going to be a good player. Barring injuries, he will be good. I don't see a world where he's healthy and not a good NBA player at the very least. But again, he's hyped up as a generational prospect. Not because he can be good, but because he can be transcendent and reach heights that are just hard to believe because they just don't seem possible because we've never seen it before.